What if one private conversation quietly changed everything? No cameras, no royal audience, no official statement, just a mother, a father, and a daughter standing at the edge of an extraordinary future. Because while the world sees Princess Leonor preparing for royal life through ceremonies and appearances, perhaps the most important moment happened far away from public view, behind closed doors, in a deeply emotional conversation that may have changed how Leonor sees herself forever. Today, we're exploring one fascinating question. What could King Felipe and Queen Letizia have said privately to Princess Leonor that completely changed her future? Because sometimes the most life-changing moments happen quietly, and sometimes words stay with us forever. Let's explore. Princess Leonor's future may have always felt different. Most young people slowly figure life out. Dreams change, plans evolve, mistakes happen, the future stays flexible. But Princess Leonor's situation may feel very different. Responsibility may have arrived early. Expectation may have followed childhood. The future may already feel written in ways few people fully understand. Future Queen, national symbol, royal responsibility, that alone carries enormous emotional weight. And perhaps one day, King Felipe and Queen Letizia realized a difficult conversation could no longer wait. Because eventually reality becomes impossible to avoid. What if they finally said the hard things out loud? Imagine the moment. No palace formality, no cameras, just honesty. Perhaps King Felipe quietly explains something difficult. Your future may ask more from you than most people will ever understand. Maybe Queen Letizia gently adds, but don't lose yourself while carrying it. What if the conversation wasn't about rules, but emotional truth, pressure, responsibility, sacrifice, the emotional cost of public life? And perhaps something even harder. The reality that extraordinary responsibility sometimes changes ordinary dreams. That kind of honesty alone could feel life-changing. Especially for someone still growing up. King Felipe may have spoken as a father, not a king. Here's something deeply emotional worth considering. Perhaps King Felipe wasn't speaking as monarch. Maybe he spoke as a father. Someone who understands pressure personally. Someone who knows how lonely responsibility can sometimes feel. Perhaps he quietly explained difficult truths he wished someone had prepared him for. The emotional cost, the expectations, the moments where leadership feels heavy. But maybe he also shared hope, meaning, purpose, strength, because perhaps love sometimes means preparing someone for hard things, even when saying it hurts. Queen Letizia may have shared something deeply personal. What if Queen Letizia's role in the conversation felt different? Perhaps softer, more emotional, more protective. Maybe she shared lessons from her own experience. The emotional toll of public attention, criticism, pressure, the challenge of staying strong. And perhaps one message mattered more than anything else. Never forget who you are. Because maybe Queen Letizia understands something deeply important. Royal titles matter, but identity matters too. And perhaps hearing those words changed something inside Princess Leonor forever. What if this conversation marked the end of childhood? Here's one heartbreaking possibility. What if this moment quietly changed everything because it marked a transition? No longer just daughter, no longer simply young princess, but someone beginning to understand what the future truly means. Responsibility becoming real, expectation becoming personal, childhood slowly fading. Perhaps one painful truth explains why moments like this feel emotional. Growing up often begins when difficult truths finally feel real, and perhaps for Princess Leonor, that realization arrived sooner than most. Why stories like this feel so powerful? People connect deeply with stories like this because emotions like these feel universal. Parents giving difficult advice, life-changing conversations, growing up, facing reality. Those experiences exist everywhere, inside palaces, inside ordinary homes, because one emotional truth feels familiar. Sometimes a single conversation quietly changes how we see ourselves forever. Not dramatically, but deeply. Maybe what changed Leonor forever was love. But perhaps here's the most emotional possibility of all. What if the thing that changed Princess Leonor forever wasn't pressure, but love? Parents trusting her with difficult truths, preparing her honestly, believing she could carry something enormous. Because maybe one painful but beautiful truth feels universal. Sometimes the people who love us most change us forever simply by being honest. Even when honesty feels hard, the human side people sometimes forget. Sometimes people see only titles. King, queen, princess, future queen, but beneath royal life still exists something deeply ordinary. Family conversations, worry, guidance, protection, love, and perhaps one emotional truth feels impossible to ignore. Even royal families may quietly sit together behind closed doors and have conversations that change everything. Especially when the future feels enormous. So, what could King Felipe and Queen Letizia have said behind closed doors that changed Princess Leonor forever? Perhaps not dramatic words, but honest ones. Difficult truths, emotional preparation, support wrapped in reality, because maybe one truth feels hardest to ignore. Sometimes growing up begins with one conversation you never fully forget. What do you think? Could a private conversation between King Felipe, Queen Letizia, and Princess Leonor quietly change everything? Or do you think Leonor has always understood the future waiting for her? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more royal stories, hidden truths, and fascinating discussions.